Let's dive in with a little real talk story. Imagine this. You've built a gorgeous nail space. The reviews are great. You finally filled those extra stations with booth renters. On paper, it's a dream. But then, one renter is always 10 minutes late. Another leaves dust and polish bottles everywhere. And a third keeps changing prices without telling the front desk. Clients don't see independent contractors versus employees. They just see one brand, your spa. So when a client walks in and sees a messy station, waits 15 minutes past their appointment time, or gets totally different service rules depending on who they sit with, they don't blame the renter. They quietly decide your whole place is chaotic.
I love this example because I have totally lived it. As a client, I've had that moment of, wait, why did my friend get a reminder text and I didn't? Or why is this tech double booking and rushing when the others aren't? It doesn't feel like, oh, one person is off. It feels like the spa doesn't really have its stuff together.
Exactly. And here's the thing. Most of the time, your renters are not trying to be difficult. They're just guessing. They brought habits from other salons, from their own home studio, from wherever they learned. Nobody ever sat down and said, here's how we do things in this shared space, and here's where you can do your own thing. So today, we're building what I call your Contractor Canvas. Think of it as a one-page, friendly, super clear agreement that balances independence with shared standards. It protects your brand, supports your techs, and keeps clients coming back because the experience feels consistent and intentional.
From the client side, a solid canvas just feels like, oh, this place is run well. It's not about rules and control. It's about me knowing what to expect every single time I book in that space. That felt wonderful the first time I walked into a spa that actually had that dialed in.
So let's break it down. We'll hit 3 big beats today. Why clarity with contractors matters so much, the 3 pillars of your contractor canvas, and then how to actually roll this out with real humans without drama, tears, or a group text meltdown. First up, why this matters. When expectations are fuzzy in a shared nail space, 3 things get hurt: client trust, your culture, and your revenue. Client trust erodes because experiences feel random. Your culture gets weird because people start policing each other, or worse, silently resenting each other. And revenue? Late starts, last-minute cancellations, surprise discounts, they all leak money.
Real talk. When I see inconsistency, I don't usually complain. I just quietly adjust my behavior. I stop booking with certain techs, I stop buying add-ons, or I decide to only go there during certain hours because I'm trying to dodge the chaos. And eventually, if it doesn't improve, I drift to another spa that feels more dependable.
And from the owner's side, that quiet adjustment is dangerous because you don't even know it's happening. You just notice your rebook rate isn't what it could be, or one renter's column is empty while another is slammed, and tension starts building under the surface. Then there's culture. When no one knows the rules, people start making up their own. One renter cleans obsessively, another shrugs and says, my clients don't care. Someone starts stacking double-booked appointments, someone else refuses walk-ins. Without a shared canvas, it becomes a patchwork instead of a team. Even if they're not your employees, they are still part of your guest experience.
Yeah, and from the chair, that shows up as, okay, why did I get offered cuticle oil and a quick massage last time, but this time I was rushed out with wet nails? It's those little things that either build trust or chip away at it.
So instead of letting everyone guess, we create a contractor canvas, 3 pillars. Pillar 1, non-negotiables. These are the basics that keep your space safe, legal, and on-brand. Hygiene, policies, and safety live here. This is not where creativity goes. This is where consistency lives. Non-negotiables might include how tools are disinfected, what gets done between every single client, where trash and laundry go, your late and no-show policy, when music volume has to come down, and what absolutely cannot happen in the space, like no children running around the pedicure area or no loud personal phone calls at the stations.
I love this because when I see the same hygiene ritual every time, the tools, the wipes, the clean station, it does something to my nervous system. I relax. I stop scanning for red flags. I can actually enjoy my service instead of mentally writing a Yelp review in my head.
Pillar 2, shared client experience standards. This is where we define what every client should feel, no matter whose chair they're in. Think of it as the mini script for your brand. For example, every client is greeted within 30 seconds, offered water, and asked about any nail sensitivities. Every tech confirms the service before starting, and every client leaves with cuticles oiled and a quick care tip.
My favorite experience is when a spa nails those basics. When I walk in and someone actually looks up, smiles, and says my name, when every tech, not just my favorite, explains what they're doing and checks it on comfort, that's when I start telling my friends, you can see anyone there. They're all good.
Exactly. Those standards aren't about micromanaging art. They're about making sure a client who tries a new tech doesn't feel like they're at a different company. It's still your spa's experience, with their personal flair layered on top. Which brings us to Pillar 3, zones of full creative freedom. This is where you deliberately say, do your thing. Your renters choose their nail art style, their social media voice, their playlists behind the station, as long as it respects the shared vibe. They can test new trends, offer signature designs, or bring in their favorite lotions, as long as safety and brand basics are intact.
From a client lens, this is the fun part. I want to know that the spa is consistent, but I also love that each artist has their own vibe. Maybe one is the chrome queen, one is all about minimalist nudes, one does wild character art. As long as the check-in, cleanliness, and basic flow are solid, I actually like that variety.
So your Contractor Canvas literally spells this out. Here's what's non-negotiable, here's how we treat clients, and here's where you have full creative freedom. Nail it every time by putting all three on one page, in plain language, not in a 20-page legal document nobody reads. Now, let's talk tech meets touch. Light tech support that makes this easy. You don't need a massive system. You need 3 simple structures: a shared digital folder, a couple of checklists, and a central info hub. Start with a shared folder. It could be Google Drive, Dropbox, whatever you like. Inside, you've got your Contractor Canvas as a PDF, your hygiene protocol, your late and cancellation policies, and your brand basics. Logo files, your main brand colors, maybe a simple photo style guide. Any renter can access it anytime without texting you at midnight.
As a client, I can always tell when that back end is organized. Suddenly, everyone's Instagram tags the same location, the prices in the link in bio match the prices at the front desk, and the whole place looks like the same brand instead of 5 random people sharing a room.
Then add simple checklists. One pre-opening checklist, one closing checklist, and maybe one per station hygiene checklist. These aren't meant to be punishment. They're there so nobody has to remember 50 little things when they're tired. Wipe this, restock that, check this. It builds habits. Finally, your info hub. This could be a pinned message in a group chat, a small bulletin board in the break area, or a simple page in your booking system where updates live. Policy tweak? Add it there. New promo? Add it there. Don't rely on I told you once in the hallway.
Because when those updates don't land, guess who feels it first? The client. We show up and suddenly there's a new fee or a different rule about deposits, and the text says, "Oh, I didn't know they changed it." That's awkward for everyone.
Okay, so you've got your pillars and your light tech. Now the million-dollar question. How do you roll this out without your renters feeling like you just turned into a dictator overnight? For new renters, it's simple. The Contractor Canvas is part of how you do business. You share it during the interview or onboarding and say, this is how we keep the space beautiful and fair for everyone. These are our non-negotiables, these are our shared client standards, and this is where you have full creative freedom. You're transparent from day one.
Honestly, as a client advocate, I think good renters actually appreciate that. It lets them know what kind of space they're stepping into. And the ones who are truly professional, they like clarity. They don't want to guess and then get in trouble later.
For existing renters, this is where you need a little finesse. You're not saying, you've all been doing it wrong. You're saying, we've grown, and it's time to put what we expect in writing so we can protect everyone's income and reputation. You might start the conversation like this. I really value what each of you brings to this space. I also know it can get confusing when policies are in my head or in random texts. I'm creating a one-page Contractor Canvas, so we're all clear on hygiene, client experience, and where you have full creative freedom. I'd love your feedback as we shape it, but I also want to be transparent that there will be some non-negotiables to protect the brand and all of our clients.
That feels so much better than starting Monday, here are the rules. You're inviting a conversation, but you're also owning your role as the space owner. Here's what I think. When owners don't hold any boundaries, clients feel it, and good renters start to leave because the environment gets messy, literally and figuratively.
Yes, you can invite feedback without giving away the steering wheel. One way to ease into it is to start with just 1 or 2 urgent standards, maybe hygiene and light policy. Share the draft, ask, is anything unclear? Do you see any major gaps? Then, over the next month or 2, you add the rest of the pillars. The secret is follow through. A beautiful document that no one uses is just Canva art. The Contractor Canvas becomes real when you reference it calmly and consistently. If someone is chronically late, you don't attack them. You go back to the canvas. Remember what we agreed to about start times and client trust. What support do you need to honor that?
And from my chair as a regular client, when I see an owner actually uphold those standards, I stay loyal. I'm way more willing to pre-book, buy gift cards, and send my friends because I know you won't let the whole place slide.
All right, let's land this with a quick recap and something you can do this week. Your Contractor Canvas lives on 3 pillars. 1, non-negotiables. Hygiene, safety, core policies that keep everyone protected. 2, shared client experience. How every client is treated from hello to checkout, no matter whose chair they're in. 3, zones of full creative freedom, where your renters can truly shine and bring their art and personality. Layer on light tech, a shared folder, simple checklists, and a central info hub, so no one has to guess or dig through old texts. Then roll it out with respect, especially to existing renters, by framing it as something that protects everyone's reputation and income, not a punishment. Your action step for this week: draft a rough 1-page contractor canvas. Literally open a blank doc and create 3 sections: non-negotiables, client experience basics, creative freedom. Jot bullet points. It does not have to be perfect. Tech meets touch. Start simple, and you can refine it with your team.
And as you do, picture the client walking through that whole journey. Does it feel clear, safe, consistent, and still fun? If the answer is yes, you're on the right track.
If today's episode helped you see your contractor set up a little differently, make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive on systems, creativity, and the business side of beauty. Forever Soundwaves is here every day to help you nail it every time, in the chair and in the back office. Let's dive in and make your business shine. Stay curious, stay creative. Until next time, keep your nails and business thriving.